I'm part of the talented 10th, I just happen to spit. Dropping that immaculateness. Dropping that immaculateness. Fly as a bird, dropping that immaculateness. I'm part of the talented 10th, I just happen to spit. Dropping that immaculateness. Sitting on the sofa watching Oprah's masterclass, bumping a song called Jazzmatazz by Jay Electronica, spitting half and half with Dr. Martin Luther King speaking with his pastor swag. I'm half man, half amazing. All my ancestors in part Master Ace mixed with half Sam Davis, tap dancing the jazz with the rap pack in basements. I'll be the tall and handsome African packing places while fans clap and wave while he fast rap on stages. I'm part Spike Lee in a white tee but a little less popular, right? Rocking the mic with the impact, sparking the light. I'm part Langston Hughes with slick Rick chain on, storytelling with a flashy vest paint on, cutting records with Jazzy Jeff Brain on, the same tables Cool Herc scratched his name on. I'm black, yes, blacker than gorilla knees. I'm different like Mike Jackson, moonwalking over Dilla beats, dancing in the streets next to Pharrell and ODB, screaming, nigga please, nigga please. I'm James Brown, a Thelonious Monk, with an odorless, melodious funk, opening up on a parliament stage with George Clinton playing the harp and the bass, next to Marvin Gaye rocking a high top fade with a part in his waves, under a snapback tribe hat, recording with Pro Tools and a mic jack, raw, no inbox, just like that. Hooked up to a light-fast Wi-Fi white MacBook controlled by an iPad, produced by Fela Kuti with an MPC. Rocking in stadium with no empty seats, full coverage followed on NBC, mixed down in a high-quality MP3 of wave files. Tracked out, so just stay a while. My lyrics and conversation to make your brain smile. My boy T.Y. say, if this was 1950s, I could be somewhere in Mississippi dead. I tell my boy, take this drink, and if he Mississippi dead. Soon I'll be racking up placements, top spot after it. I'm a computer burning up in flames. Immaculate on fire, immaculate on fire. Packaging, audio for trafficking. I'm light years ahead, they need to go faster. They some dope actors, they iPod. I'm E-Pod, I'm even dope backwards. I need a lady with nice hindquarters. I like to be respectful. I need a lady with nice hindquarters, gluteus maximus accurate, nice mind on her. I know God took time on her, cause that melanin class and confidence just shines on her. She was juicy like fruit, tropical, bi-coastal, juicy like Hanukkah bifocals. I know you like, man, that was a stretch. But damn it, the respect for this lyricist gets granted nonetheless. You ain't up on this, cousin. You ain't heard my CD diss, cousin. I don't take it as a diss, cousin, that you ain't heard me spit like this, cousin. At the end of this discussion, you would have heard me spit something. They just reaching, under wheel, casting lines. Nothing real, sitting back, fronting ill. Whole time they getting well. In this rap market, I'm sick as hell. I need me a hot soapum. I say I got sickle cell anemia. Doc told her, but I know that sickle cell. I need me a stockbroker to help me pitch, sit and sell the media, hot cocaine in the designated market geographic. Demand is high, so I'ma charge like a geographic. They say, Mr. Talk, pardon our lady national CEO. She wasn't aware of your talent, but now she know you got more words in the deficit that our nation owe. A lecture collection, dope definite the nation know that you love hip hop and love poetry while the others hit and run. I sow a seed in poetry water, watch it grow, share with another, make that poet rewater, cultivate and be smarter, motivate and reach harder, a journey to reach harder into the heart of some father, mother, son, or some daughter, cause no one taught her before, or reach him because his guard's up and he's been hurt before, or youngins in food deserts, well, I'm nothing they seen or heard before. Man, I'm nothing they seen or heard before. They smoking herb before they learn I'm something like a herbivore. Only green, spinach, and artichoke. I get the crowd hype. You probably studied the artichoke. And I eat too fast sometimes. I auto-choke like when the transmission quitting in the engine on my auto chokes. But I digress. Grandma Nudie told me, boy, you gotta slow down and digest. Gluttony's a sin, and you don't want to digest because your eyes are bigger than your appetite. Why, yes, you overrate. Don't worry about these critics. They always going to overrate. These bricklayers are shooting 0 for 8 on a scale of 1 to 10. You release over 8, they viewing you. Far more suitable. Harder than trying to dress a cow or even suitable. Or getting kicked out of United Center skybox trying to suitables. They metaphors. You met a 10. They metaphors. You met a 10. They met a loss. You met a win. God, forgive me for being sick when you gave me the cure. That's a medicine. I got this girl and see, she called me Mr. Right. She tell me to grip her tight. She said, I'll never run out on you. If I do, I'll just die. See, boo, I love our relationship and love life because it's never give and take with you. It's just right. When I first met Shorty, she was working for the bank. It's like that gig had her enslaved, hooked up to a chain at the counter. And before the counter would give the clerk the number onto the display, onto the paper, she would write customers' names. And it made her job really that simple and plain. But I chose to take her and separate her from them chains so I could make her useful for writing more than a digital phrase on just some paper or sitting there wasting away. So I said, baby, I'm going to take you back to see my pad. And if it gets late, I got a cover in sheets. You could lay sleep on that. And that old job, you never work another week. In fact, when you're rolling with me, it seemed like you never have to complete a task. See, she called me Mr. Right. She tell me to grip her tight. She said, I'll never run out on you. If I do, I'll just die. See, boo, I love our relationship and love life because it's never give and take with you. It's just right. You see, my last girlfriend was a yellow red bone. She was way too sharp and always laid headstrong. I should have known straight from the gates. She had low self-esteem. She was always erasing mistakes. I mean, it really wasn't working for me. She eventually got dull trying to be too perfect for me. And you could tell her that you heard it from me. Because I'd much rather scribble out the page so I can remember what I say. Because I see mistakes as perfect imperfections. But with perfection, she was too overly obsessed with. I said, baby, you a basic kind of crazy. You got me embarrassed to claim you as my lady. Plus, when it comes to the paper that I make and give it to you at a certain angle, you kind of shady. And now you lazy. You just sit there stationary. In addition to wasting my paper, misusing my stationery. But I see this as a learned lesson and I'll take it. Because I could have been investing in replacements. But she got down to the point where she was just like a professional eraser. So I'm confessing that I just had to erase it. In order to bring you all back to my world, the first verse, I'm rapping as if my pen is my girl. See, she called me Mr. Right. She tell me to grip her tight. She said, I'll never run out on you. If I do, I'll just die. See, boo, I love our relationship and love life because it's never give and take. With you, it's just right. When I first met Shorty, she was working for the bank. It's like that gig had her enslaved, hooked up to a chain at the counter. And before the counter would give the clerk the number onto the display, onto the paper, she would write customers' names, and it made her job really that simple and plain. But I chose to take her and separate her from them chains so I could make her useful for writing more than a digital phrase on just some paper or sitting there wasting away. So I said, baby, I'm going to take you back to see my pad. And if it gets late, I got a cover and sheets. You could lay sleep on that. And that old job, you never work another week. In fact, when you're rolling with me, it seemed like you never have to complete a task. So for you to understand what I was into, the second verse, my ex-girlfriend was a pencil. My last girlfriend was a yellow red bone. She was way too sharp and always laid headstrong. I should have known straight from the gate she had low self-esteem. She was always erasing mistakes. I mean, it really wasn't working for me. It really wasn't working for me. She eventually got dull trying to be too perfect for me. And you could tell her that you heard it from me. Because I'd much rather scribble out the page so I can remember what I say. Because I see mistakes as perfect imperfections. But with perfection, she was too overly obsessed with. I said, baby, you a basic kind of crazy. You got me embarrassed to claim you as my lady. Plus, when it comes to the paper that I make and give it to you at a certain angle, you kind of shady. And now you lazy. You just sit there stationary in addition to wasting my paper, misusing my stationery. But I see this as a learned lesson and I'll take it. Because I could have been investing in replacements, but she got down to the point where she was just like a professional eraser. So I'm confessing that I just had to erase her. I'm with this other girl. She called me Mr. Right. She tell me to grip her tight. She said, I'll never run out on you. If I do, I'll just die. See, boo, I love our relationship and love life because it's never give and take with you. It's just right.